Hey everybody, this is Ro from Find a Job in Germany again, and today we have a client with us who already landed a job in Germany, who is actually already in Munich. It's Aman. Welcome, Aman. Good to have you today. How are you?
Hey Rahul, I'm doing good, and it's great to be invited again in this meeting.
Good to have you. Aman, as you know, the audience is all over the world. For this video, also from India. You are from Bengaluru, and as I already said, right now in Munich. Today we would talk maybe just shortly about your experiences with us, but the focus should be more about you and how you get along in Germany, how is life in Germany, how is your experiences so far. You arrived, when did you arrive actually in Munich?
In July?
July, right? So it's now a couple months. You came in summer, now the winter is coming.
Yes.
I mean, could you just introduce yourself and then we start the discussion, okay?
Yes. So I have experience of over 7.5 years in software development. Before coming to Munich, I was working in Bangalore and for multiple companies of different domains, and then I stumbled upon find a job in Germany, and from there the process went on, and I'm here in just 3 months of effort.
Exactly. You joined us like for 3 months, and then you got a job. I remember we had some couple of mock-up sessions and reflected upon your improvements, how you can do something better. And as a Java developer, you have around 7 years now, right, of experiences.
Yes.
Good. Okay. And now you made it after 3 months and came to Munich in during the summertime. How is Munich? How is it in Germany for you?
Munich is a lot more organized, and it just feels in terms of public transport is great. In terms of weather, when I came in July, somewhere between July and August, the weather was very similar to how it was in Bangalore. But probably the weather got a lot more pleasant in September, October, and now it's pretty cold, but and pleasant. It depends on where you're from in India, right? Let's just say if you're from Bangalore, you would find this place a lot more pleasant, but probably people from warmer regions of India would feel cold. So yeah, it depends.
Especially now when the winter is coming.
Indeed.
We're starting to come here mid of November. I mean, you said it's much more organized. What do you mean by that?
Yes, in the infrastructure, right, and the transport especially, right, and even the bureaucracy, for instance, right. I have heard Germans complaining about bureaucracy of Germany.
Definitely,
but coming from India, I certainly feel it's better. Right? It's a lot more organized here in terms of process, right, and it's a lot more straightforward.
Okay. Would you also say that regarding your visa process? Because there are also many complaining about the process. What about your experiences when it comes to German administration and registration in Germany? Was that also smooth for you?
Yes, it was extremely smooth, to be honest. I believe I got my residence permit in 2 months, right?
Okay.
My entire blue card process. I went through Visa Right as the service provider, and right from getting the appointment ready and all the documents ready from India to
So you applied
here.
for an appointment in Bangalore.
Yeah. So what happened there was in Bangalore, you were not getting appointments immediately after I got the job offer. And when I started applying, because Bangalore had a lot of a long waiting period of 2 to 3 months. So what Visa Right did was they applied in Cochin. Cochin is a different part in India, and so I had to go there. I went with my spouse, and we got our visa appointment there, and probably
Okay,
we got the
great.
visa in 3 months. Sorry, pardon me, 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here. And then there were a few other processes like registering for health insurance, getting the city registration done, and
Mm-hmm.
also the residence permit. All of it was taken care by visa, right? But even
Okay.
when we went to Munich offices, German offices, we did not feel much of a hassle. Right? The process was a lot more simple,
Okay.
and we got everything done.
And this is what we also hear. I mean, from our clients who are in Berlin, they are always happy everyone speaks English and so on. How's it in Munich? You get along with English as well?
Well, I have found that here a lot of preference is given to German language, right? And I have few friends in Berlin who would say that you could go anywhere and people would respond to you in English, but in Munich it's not so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
People would start the conversation in German, and then I end up stating to them that okay, I do not understand German. Then they turn to English. So that is there, and there were occasions where we had met people who did not speak in English at all. So I
Okay.
believe that
Mm-hmm.
Munich, in that terms, would not be similar to Berlin.
Yeah, but it's still possible to make a living there, yeah, and to
Indeed,
survive.
indeed.
And are you
Yes,
German?
yes,
Are you learning German actually?
yes. I have
Yeah.
just
Okay.
enrolled in a self-learning German
Okay.
course,
Cool.
and I'm slowly
Nice.
learning it.
Very good. I mean, it's always good if you want to stay here for a longer time, even in Berlin. Life will get easier, and at some point, you would also need it for your permanent residency and citizenship, etc. At some point. So I
Yes,
think to get around, it's always good to learn the local language, no matter where you are, even outside of
yes.
Germany, of course. Okay, and now then you, as we can see, you live in a nice apartment. How did you find that?
Yeah. So apartment hunt was, of course, as dreading as it is for everyone's right. And what I did was I just made the emo scout
Hmm.
profile, and got all the documents there. And searching for apartment was again was an effort, and but yes, the results sometimes are worth it. It took
How many apartments have you checked out before
uh,
finding that one?
I believe some 20 to 30 apartments
You
I
have
had checked.
visited actively.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I had
yeah, that
visited 20 to
is
30 apartments.
below the German average, I would say, but
Yes,
still enough. Yes,
yes,
still enough.
yes,
Okay, good. And you live in this Munich city center somehow, like
yes,
in a
yes,
city. Okay, nice. And
yes.
talking now about your company, you started a couple months ago. What would you say? You work as a Java developer. You worked as a Java developer in the past as well. What
Yes.
are the major differences?
So here I have noticed that a lot of ownership is given to developers here.
Hmm.
Back in India, usually developers are individual contributors. Even if they're team leads, they end up being feature owner. But here, the team has a concept of OKR where developers interact with a lot more stakeholders. Right? They interact with the sales team, they interact with let's say product management and also the customer facing teams to understand what is technically feasible, right?
Hmm.
And then create features and tasks, or so that entire process where the interaction with the stakeholders has increased, right?
Okay.
That I found a lot, much better, because uh, it's not just about developing features and getting it out to the customers. We need to understand what features matter a lot more, right? What
Hmm.
which requirements matter to the customer. But that was not there in India, right? We were
Okay.
just limited uh, to dealing with product managers. Even though I had worked in startups in India and I also worked in larger companies, but I for my in my years of experience, I've noticed that the stakeholders are usually, at most, you can in a startup, you speak to the CEOs, etc., but you never go and speak to, let's just say, the customer facing team or sales team at all in India. But here it was there. So
nice.
that's the one of the main difference that I found, the ownership aspect. And yes, in terms of development, yes, since a lot more responsibility is given to you, one needs to figure out how to solve it, right? And people in that terms, what I've noticed is, let's just say you develop and you put something for code review, for instance, and they do not criticize you for something that might not be the best solution. Right? They would just give you a straightforward. They do give a very straightforward feedback, but they are not so critical about it. They would say that, okay, this is somewhere you need to improve. So these are two things that I've noticed different in European culture.
That is interesting, and this is also what we always let our clients know about. Germans are known as very straightforward. Do you realize that as work and with these different stakeholders as well?
I mean, yes, I have. Some of the stakeholders do respond properly, but some of the stakeholders just are very straightforward. They'll say that, okay, the way it is not how it's supposed to be, right? They would. So probably coming from India, sometimes you might feel, okay, it's a bit offensive, but right, so it does happen. But then when you realize the perspective and have been, so this is where I believe people should also know how the German culture is, right? And they need to adapt to it. And yes, every culture has pros and cons. One needs to know that beforehand. Then not take it in a negative aspect completely. It's just that this is how Germans are, or this is how Indians are. So one needs to understand that, I believe.
Exactly, I totally agree. But just to make clear, like at the office, you work in English all the time, and you have an international team as well, and everyone is used to speak in English.
Yes, we have team not just from India, but we have teammates from different parts of Europe, and even people from Canada as well. So it is it is in a way international team, and everyone communicates in English most probably. Right?
And your company is it like a big company or a smaller company? Like how many team members do you have?
So at the moment, our team, the entire large team, is again divided into 3 squads, but the large team in itself has around 15 to 20 members, and individual would have 5 to 6.
Okay, this is actually very common that here in Germany you have around 50 employees roundabout, and not like thousands of employees like what we know sometimes from the US, or of course there are also these huge multinational companies, but the major companies you find here in Germany have roundabout something between 20 to 50 employees, but still are very international, as you said. And I think it's very interesting to say like these differences. And you were between India work environment and German environment. I mean, you didn't had that experience in the past, like communicating with different stakeholders. How was it for you to like be pushed in that situation, and maybe something it was new, or you see that you need to get more support from the company? Do they support you also in your own professional personal development?
So when I connected with these other stakeholders, at first I was, of course, because I did not have any prior knowledge of how to communicate to them, right? So we had someone interfacing, right, between me and the sales team. So we have team members who support you initially, support individuals initially on getting onboarded in that aspect. And then one can easily pick up, that this is how you need to communicate with other stakeholders, and then it just comes automatically, right? But yes, one needs to put effort, because this is a bit different. Yes, But yes, we have team members who are already proficient in that, and they are willing to help us
Yeah.
get better at this aspect.
Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, this is also what we always teach or say our clients. Communication is as important as the tech stuff, and you know why, like because you will communicate internally with different stakeholders, with people from different backgrounds. So communication is again a must have to have good communication skills.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is like the office work. Is there anything else that you would say is different compared from your work experiences you have made in India and now in Germany?
Uh, One of the things is, at least in this office, we have a lot of freedom to work from home. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
of course. And this was not, and that's not imposed. For instance, in India, it is, I believe, imposed at the moment in some of the companies where you either work from home or you just come to office, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here it is not like that. Here there's a lot more freedom, right? And even though there is no work from home policy right now in Munich, but people do work from home, and if you want to go to office, you can do that, right? That freedom was there, but in India it was no, because it was heavily regulated by one or other policy, but here it was not so much. So
Okay. And you work a lot at from home, or you're at the office more?
yes, so
Or,
it's a mix of both, right?
mhm.
Initially I was going to office, right, getting to know a bit, and
Yeah.
then probably after 2 months I'm just working from home. And
Okay.
I
So it's
do go to office once in a while,
okay.
just
Yes.
to meet some of the colleagues, right? So we have that freedom.
Very good.
That's
Yeah.
good to have.
And when we talk about, let's say your job is over, how many hours do you work per day,
Yeah,
more or
well,
less?
I mean, as developers, asking developers how many hours you work, that would be a very funny question, because sometimes you work, let's just say 6 7 hours, or sometimes you end up working 9 to 10 hours. It depends. But here I have noticed that there is no micromanagement going on, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
just, they give you the task and they expect the task to be delivered, and if you have any problems you can connect with your peers, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
get it done. But no one tells you that you need to work this many hours. Yes, we have the company policy of 8 hours, but that's not how usually it works, right? Because they do not ask you every day what is the update, just something like that. So they just live it up, and if you face any problems, they just follow up with you. That's how it
Okay,
works.
that is very interesting. So the micromanagement you don't see here as much, and the job is done when it's done. Let's
Indeed.
say, when the task. Okay, good. Um, Interesting. Yeah. Um, have you worked actually more in India, like hours wise? Have you worked more than here in Germany?
I don't feel like that. I mean, it depends on companies as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Sure.
here, even in India, there were companies where I was working for 14, 15 hours a day, and
Mm-hmm.
there were companies which were not, which were on the easier side. Let's say 6 7 hours a day. This company also is on the easier side, but not stating that. Uh, it's not that's imposed, right? You have to, it's about getting the work done, even though, let's just
Mm-hmm.
say, on an average I do end up 7 to 8 hours, right? But
Okay.
it's not something
Typically.
that's enforced on
Mm-hmm.
me that you need to
Yeah.
work, right?
Yeah.
But in India probably you would have something like time logging, but that was not there in India. But
Mm-hmm.
there is a bit of, in that
Mm-hmm.
sense. Even in larger companies they would expect you to fulfill that time criteria, and some of the, in
Yeah.
some, I have faced that issue where within the company, or with, and some of the teams, we would have this we would have that criteria that we need to log this many hours, even though if you're
Yeah.
it happens in product companies as well.
Yeah, I think as well that this is has a lot to do with trust in the team, in the person, and at the end of the day, they will see if the job is done or not. And if you do it in 2 hours, that's totally fine. If you need more hours, that's also fine. But it's clear what, because you set up the plan maybe with the team before, and the sprints or whatever. So
Yeah.
you know what's on your desk and you know what you need to work on, and the time to do it's up to you. Yes, I think it's trust and also giving you the responsibility to manage yourself,
Yes.
self-management. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And when we look what you do after work, is when it comes to work-life balance. You have, let's say, 8, 9 hours per day. How's life in Munich after office time?
Right. So usually, what I used to do earlier is, if probably 2 3 months ago, we had I was with colleague. I used to play table tennis with him daily, and
Okay.
now it's as I'm working from home, we don't do that often, but we do that sometimes. And Munich is certainly very beautiful, right?
Okay. But just to interrupt you had like a ping pong table at the office, or?
Y- yes, at the office. It's
Okay.
ping pong
Yeah.
table at
Okay.
the
That's
office.
why you spent time in the office. Okay. And you are like a ping pong player. You like passion because it's very popular here in Germany.
Yes, I did not know that before.
Okay.
But in India, back in Bangalore, I used to go to a small academy and used to play table tennis, there, ping pong or table tennis there.
Okay.
And when I came here, I realized that a lot of parks have the ping pong table, right? Which I was indeed surprised. And then I
Hmm.
realized that even here you have leagues, you have all the point system, and you have a lot of people playing a ping pong here. So that's
And are
something that
you
is,
are you about to join a ping pong club, or you stick to the street to play doing? I mean, now it's winter, it's probably the not busy, but summer and spring the tables are full, huh? Like you have to line up sometimes. Do you join any clubs, or?
so I did look for multiple clubs, but some of the clubs were very professional and they needed very skilled players. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing is I'm slowly finding a few other clubs where someone with my skill can go join and improve. So
Okay,
I'm in the
yeah,
process of doing it at the moment.
yeah. I'm pretty sure you will find some club. There are many out there.
Yeah.
Okay, but that means when we talk about work-life balance, also in relation maybe to India, what would you say stands out, especially maybe in Munich and at your company here?
Yeah, so here we have worked here for 4 months, and within 4 months we had 2 team outings. Yes,
Hmm.
and so the team used to go and hike. Right, we used to
Okay.
go hike, and it helps to know other teammates better, right? Because a lot of us are working from home, and
Hmm.
this is more of a team building activity, which is very nice. In India, we're not able to do it because we had stricter policies where people were
Hmm.
not allowed to meet as well. Right here, since the policies are not so strict, we have the team meeting, we have hiking events, and we also have quarterly team events, quarterly even for the company as well. So I have attended 3 to 4 events of this sort in a matter of 4 months. So
Okay,
the social
nice.
aspect is
And there
something
are
that,
also like leisure activities outside of the office of always then, yeah?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool. Yeah, I mean the landscape in Munich is, or around Munich, it's beautiful. What is your experience?
So I have visited 3 to 4 places. They're
Hmm.
near the Alps, right? I have visited a few of the lakes and some of the mountainous region. Uh, and I have few plans for the upcoming months, but I'm not so sure on how the Munich winters are, and if the winters are something that I can sustain, so probably I would certainly go the Alps or some other side of the
Which is like,
Bavarian region.
how long does it take to the Alps, to the mountains from Munich? Like one or 2 hours, or how much time do
Yes,
you need? Yeah, I mean, that is
it is.
very special, let's say, about Munich. A very like big
Yes,
city, dynamic city, and still you are very quickly in a beautiful landscape and
yes,
environment. Okay, cool.
yes.
And now, of course, also a question I'm like people, clients, or also interested potential clients are very much asking us these days, what about the inflation in Germany?
Mhm.
Um, what is your take on that? I mean, you have your job, obviously, but what is your experience so far?
Right. So one of the things that I've noticed is, let's just say, I believe Germany usually has an inflation of 1 to 2%, but right now it has reached close to 10%, and it is evident. We cannot say that it's not evident. It is evident. Uh, so, but there are a few things, because let's just say when you come to Germany, there are a few basic needs. For instance, the transportation, right?
Hmm.
So the monthly pass prices have stayed the same. Yes, they
Hmm.
have not increased. And even Germany also has a policy in the upcoming to come up with a follow up to the €9 ticket. Yes, that would help at least people who are coming here in terms of travel. Yes,
Hmm.
local travel, or even within Germany. And the second aspect is, yes, the grocery prices have increased. Yes, but they have not increased to, like, not like doubled it, even though you have an inflation of 10%, and we would expect the prices to be doubled. They have not doubled. Some of them have, but on an average, you can just say that there's an increase of 10 to 20%. Yes,
Hmm.
and one can sustain with what are the
Yeah.
average software engineer
And I
salary.
mean, you live in a two-person household, and life is you can live and enjoy your life in Munich, right? And then Munich is one of
Yes.
the, let's say, more expensive cities. Um, and I think I hope you too has also benefit from the um, governmental support regarding heating prices and so on. I mean, there's so much discussion right on these days about Ukraine, the war, inflation, and the media speaks about it. Probably also the inflation discussion is going on in India, I guess. I don't know what's the inflation rate there. Um, but from our experiences that we see here also, I don't know if that has been affected by you, but there are no layoffs for software developers such in German companies, especially the ones like which are smaller, very specific in one industry. And do you have any experiences made in that regard?
So when I joined, I mean, I, as I said, right, yes, there is recession, yes, there's the looming recession here, but I have not felt it, right? Where because I, even in my LinkedIn profile, I was able to get a lot of recruiters contacting me, right? And I have told them that I have just joined the company now, and I'm not looking for opportunity at the moment. But yes, certainly would like to stay connected. So uh, we have, even in this situation, I believe there are a lot of companies who are in need of software engineers or people from different IT roles. So I have not felt it. Probably yes, since it's there, and I'm certain that when the inflation recession part, the season gets over, the number of companies hiring would increase. Yes, but even at this moment, I'm getting a lot of invitations from LinkedIn sitting asking to
Yeah,
join the
as
company.
you exactly, and this is what we see as well. This is what we hear from companies as well, and the in, in like going on since a couple of years already now that more than 100,000 positions in the field of tech and IT cannot be filled every year, and so there are many options still available. And exactly what you also said, once you're here, once you have an employer, recruiters will contact you and offer you different options, different salaries, maybe. Of course, I think it's good to stay first where you are, and you can get back to them maybe in 2 or 3 years, whenever you're up to. But build your network. We already talked about that in the past. Building the network is very important for making business and private connections. Well,
Yes.
okay, Sida, do you have anything else to share with the audience here? You want to point out something?
I mean, but one of the things was how I started even before connecting with you. When I started off the journey, right? I did Google. So how I started was I just Googled how to, build a resume according to German structure, right? I did my research and I did build the resume, but after applying for 20 to 30 companies, I was not able to, get a response from any of the companies. But then after I got in touch with you and team, I felt that this is not just in terms of getting a job in Germany, but also the way the resume was built, the way even though when it came to communication, I was able to adapt to German communication, but the initial resume and the profile, which is very important, right? The significance which that significance I did not know when I was in India, right?
Mm-hmm.
In India, even if you just put the projects, you put the skills, you do not have to be presentable, right? And you'd still get a lot of calls from Indian uh, companies. But here it was not there. Here it was very different. Uh, the way the resume has to be prepared, how do we showcase a project, right? All of this is something that is not just learning for me in terms of coming to Germany, but also it's a long-term learning for me. And this is how I have taken a lot of positives from the resume building here and also the communication. So this is something that I would like to thank you and the team for.
Okay, thank you very much. And yes, you're right. I think also our program can be regarded as a cultural entrance towards Germany, and you get along with the German culture while you are in our program. All right, Aman, thank you very much for your time. And I think you just had the perfect ending for our chat here. Thank you everyone for watching. And if you want to continue with us, just sign up and book a get to know call. And I'm happy to talk with you in detail about your profile and roadmap to Germany. Aman, thank you very much. Take care and we talk soon. Bye-bye.